A warm welcome to X-Plane 11 Vulkan. We have got every single slider maxed for this review, simply because I really want to showcase a developer that has escaped my attention for whatever reason. This is Wycombe Air Park in Buckinghamshire by Pilot Plus. And quite honestly, as you can see from here, this is not a screenshot, this is actually inside the sim. An absolutely beautifully detailed rendition that I am so in love with. Now, one thing that strikes me about this package straight away is its weathered look. A lot of developers out there produce really high quality textures, but they're a little bit too clean and crisp and clinical. But here we've got sort of muck and grime all over the place, exactly what it's like at the real airfield. And I've actually been here myself a few times. I've flown in here with my pilot friend, and I've even sat on that bench right there, and it looks exactly the same. Honestly, guys, it is absolutely just jaw-dropping. It's really refreshing to have another developer on the scene, especially providing this level of detail. Now, it's worth saying that this is actually available from Orbex as well, which I think is great, and it basically blends seamlessly into the True Earth region that I'm using here. So if I zoom right out, you can't see where the airport kind of finishes and where the True Earth region begins. It just looks completely seamless and beautifully modelled, as you can see here. But there's a few things about this particular airport that is quite game-changing, dare I say it, in the sense that I have never seen any other developer pull this off as well as this, and that is dynamic vegetation. So if we just stay here for a moment. In fact, I'll show you my settings just in case you don't believe me. Look at that. Everything completely maxed out there. But what we're going to do is, at the moment we're in summertime. Just remember what that looks like there, because this is going to blow you away, guys. I've never seen this in X-Plane before. Change the time of day, change the season to autumn. So we're going for October here. Apply changes, instant. And now we have autumn textures. Just like that. So we actually have seasonal variations in the vegetation, which I've never seen before in X-Plane. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen it done like that as well, where basically I can apply changes and it instantly changes the textures without having to reload it. I don't know what kind of clever magicians they have working at Pilot Plus, but that is absolutely stunning. I love that. So each time you go back to the airport, not only is it going to look different depending on the weather itself, because the PBR lighting is going to show all sorts of lovely shiny effects and wet effects, but it's also, as you can see there, look, but it's also going to change the vegetation as well. That is fantastic. Really, really nice touch there by Pilot Plus. Now, you can see the shine on the different materials is looking very, very nice indeed, and the weathering effects of the hangars, the fences. Look at the ground there. I can zoom right in there and it just doesn't lose focus at all. I even like how some of the road is a little bit worn, and there's even a fence. That's it. Look in the car park there. Things like that give it a real charm and, make it feel alive to me. It's just absolute pleasure. We're going to look at this in VR as well, just in case you're wondering. But I just had to show it off in all its glory first in max settings in 2D mode. Now, as you can see here from all the objects, there's so much, I guess you'd call it clutter, assets everywhere. I haven't seen this many objects, 3D sort of just stuff everywhere in an airfield before. And yet we're getting really, really good performance, as you can see here. My system is only a mid-range i5 8600K, and yet I'm able to get away with very nice frame rate looking around this beautiful airfield. Just look, every little bit of fence here. I reckon you could walk around here in first-person mode quite happily for hours and hours, and it just looks great. Absolutely great. Just look, all the cars modelled perfectly, number plates, everything. So as we zoom around the boundary, there's also a very high quality ortho layer as well, as you can see here, which is super, super crisp, to the point where you could probably almost see people in their gardens having barbecues. Just look at that. The windscreens of the cars there. The models of these buildings. I don't know whether these are Orbex or whether they are their own. And I think that in itself says it all, because it's so seamlessly blended together. It just looks like a superb sort of overall effect that it just doesn't. There's no immersion breaking weirdness anywhere. It's just perfectly modelled. And in fact, as part of this package, there are quite a number of VFR sort of landmarks, like this huge building here. Not quite sure what this is, whether it's a school or some sort of a training academy or whatever. Got all those cars in the car park, looks so realistic. From the air, it's very useful to have all these visual references. I remember my friend when we was doing a few circuits here, we were doing the same thing. Like, look over here, look at that. A massive John Lewis modelled to perfection. That's definitely Pilots Plus work there. Absolutely, no doubt about that. If I can take a screenshot of that, that is just stunning. Every time I look around this particular package, I see something different. And I was flying around here, like pretty much all afternoon yesterday, in VR, just checking out all of these details. I mean, you don't need me to tell you how good this looks. Just absolutely stunning. But what we're going to do now is dim the lights, because this also has a particular feature to this airfield that I think is the best of the best. I haven't seen anything quite as good as this before, and that is the night lighting. If I just try and get a good shot here, we're going to dim the lights here and check this out. Here we go, doing it nice and slow. Oh, that is a sight to behold right there. Just look at the lighting. I often find that this is where a lot of scenery developers fall down a little bit, because they either put too much lighting in and everything is lit up like a Christmas tree, or they don't put enough, or it just doesn't feel like it flows very well. Now with this package, you can see how there's plenty of darkness and plenty of light blooming on various surfaces, and it's done really subtly and really well, to the point where it just looks totally believable. I really hope that Pilot Plus have got plenty more airports to show off for X-Plane 11, because this is by far, well, the best work I've seen so far. Absolutely stunning, and it's just, as I say, a refreshing change to have a new developer on the scene. I'm a huge fan of Orbex and Gary Summons' scenery, but they do kind of dominate the market often. So I really feel that this is quite a bespoke, handcrafted feel about it, especially with those weathered effects as well. Absolutely superb. Okay guys, what we're going to do now is go back to daytime, and we're going to go for a circuit, or maybe a couple of circuits in VR in our trusty Pilatus PC6 over here, which is by Thrander, by the way. Hugely recommend this particular aircraft. And check out what this feels in VR. Now, just to let you know, for VR, I'm going to take my settings down. I'm not going to have these settings in VR. I'm not that crazy. What I'm going to do is put my AA settings to 2 times. Let's have a look. I'm going to put the visual effects down to HDR. And that's actually about it. So really, I'm not going to put things down too low. But as you can see here, we're getting quite a bit of we've got nearly 9 gigs of textures here loaded, but I'm using maximum. So if you have got a decent card with 11 gigs of VRAM, then you can definitely max out all those settings and enjoy this scenery to your heart's content. But anyway, we're going to jump in VR now and check out how this feels once we are literally inside this airfield. So I'll see you in a moment. Okay guys, welcome. We are now in VR, and as you can imagine, everything I've just been talking about in 2D mode is just completely on a different level when you are actually basically here at the airfield in your little headset. It's just amazing, absolutely incredible. And we're going to attempt to do a bit of a circuit here in this PC6, which is clattering around all over the place at the moment. Oh dear, my taxiing skills aren't the best at the moment, but never mind. This is not about my flying skills as it is about the actual scenery. Now, just to say, there is a bit of a frame rate hit when you enter VR, as you can imagine, so I have turned my settings down a little bit, but not a huge amount, and everything still looks absolutely stunning. Right, here we go. Oh, careful with those engines. Right, so as we take off here, we have got all those VFR landmarks all around the boundary that will give us really good indication of where we are in the circuit. And that ortho is so crisp and beautiful, and you just can't tell where the Pilot Plus sort of scenery stops and where the True Earth begins. I don't think I've seen a integration so seamless as that. Usually you can definitely tell, you can just see a little bit of a cut off or something, but now it looks really, really good. Okay, God, this feels beautiful. Just to say also that actually Pilot Plus has also modelled Clifton House, the helipad there, and we'll be doing it in a separate video, and basically, you know, be a good excuse to hone those helicopter flying skills, which I haven't got much of, to be honest. But yeah, that'll be good fun to try that out, and that's just basically north of the airport, because we're actually very close to Heathrow here, so I'd imagine the airspace around here is incredibly busy. And I remember when I flew here in real life, I was looking around for aircraft absolutely all the time. It was quite stressful, actually. So you can see from the VR point of view, the airfield just looks spectacular, and we've got a bit of a football pitch there, and you can even see the goals and the car park, the bespoke buildings, and that ortho, the underlying ortho, is just beautifully crisp. And because it's so crisp, you can see every detail, and you really feel the height. Oh my God, wow. Such a charming area, absolutely gorgeous. Right, we're going to set up now for a bit of a circuit. That is the John Lewis building down there in all of its glory. So as we're on finals here, going over these bespoke buildings, imagine living on the edge here. I'd absolutely love it personally, but I'd imagine a lot of people get fed up with all the aircraft buzzing around. Don't know how you could. I'd be out in my garden all the time. But see if we can clear the trees. This busy motorway here. Oh, this is just absolutely fantastic. We're so lucky to have this level of detail in X-Plane. There we go. There's an actual aircraft that's clearly just took off from Heathrow. Oh, too busy looking at the airfield and all the graphics, and oh, there we go. We managed to not ground leap. So there you are, guys. That's just a quick circuit in VR, just to let you know that things are even better in VR. We're going to taxi back now and head to the cafe, as I always like to do. So there you are, guys. I hope you enjoyed my first look at Wycombe Air Park by Pilot Plus here for X-Plane 11. I really do feel that I like what they've done with the fact that the seasons, the vegetation is dynamic and changes. I've never seen that before in any other airfield developed for X-Plane before. And I also really like how the textures are really weathered and give a sort of living and breathing feeling about the place. Absolutely love it. You'll be seeing this airfield a lot, I'll tell you that, on the channel, because I absolutely adore it. Right, time for a coffee at the cafe, I think. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.